Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Lake Cities podcast with Chris and Lucas.
Hi. How are you?
Man, your voice is good today.
Yeah, man.
You're right. So I want to get into a few things. Next week, we're going to have on the show, if you're listening, we're going to have Kristen Holbrooks, the head volleyball coach at Lake Dallas High School, is going to stop by and talk to us a little bit about the athletic program at Lake Dallas High School, how the kids did on the STAR test. If you or your kids are taking the STAR test this week, man, know that you are in our thoughts and prayers.
Indeed.
You are in our thoughts and prayers and tweets, hashtag good luck.
Yeah.
I heard there was some technical difficulties this morning, but hopefully all those things will get sorted and we'll get all our kids through that.
Absolutely.
So it's been a busy week.
Man, it's been really busy.
Last week was all getting ready for Easter. We did our services outside, had an absolute blast. Over 100 people hanging out outside.
That's what's up.
Enjoying the overcast weather and the nice little breeze that came through.
Yes.
Maybe caught a buddy who was walking back from the Dollar General with his little dozen eggs, come stop by and was like, hey, I didn't realize you guys were having church, so I'm going to hang out.
Yeah,
so,
that's good.
Yeah, had a great time. Got to see a lot of people that we haven't seen since the beginning of COVID because we had some parking spots reserved. So if you still, if you felt the need to continue to social distance, or we've got a few church members who have been undergoing cancer treatment, so they're not allowed to interact with anybody, even if the pandemic wasn't a thing.
Right.
But they got to watch from their cars, so it was the first time everybody got to kind of like wave, kiss your hand, put it on the hood, sort of deal. Yeah. So that was really great to get to see and hang out with everybody. Your first Sunday back with 2 services.
Bruh,
how you feeling, man?
I'm trying to find my voice, man.
Yeah.
Listen, I was like, y'all should have came at 8:30, man. I shot my shot then. That was it. 10:30 is getting whatever I got left.
Sometimes that's what happens.
That's what it is.
That's it. So this week has been pretty exciting for a lot of folks in our area. Because last night, now this is going to be released on Thursday, so we're recording it on Tuesday, which means last night was Monday night for all of you people keeping score at home. Last night, the Baylor Bears beat the Zags and brought home the
Reformation
NCAA
2.
Come on, man.
Reformation 2.
How crazy was that? Now, I know they weren't like a Cinderella story, right? Because they were a 1 seed going into it.
Absolutely.
This is not typically a sports show, but I do feel like this needs to be highlighted. Because when's the last time especially like we had the Mean Green won their very first tournament game. You had a great story in Oral Roberts, who was a 15 seed that took things through all the way that they got the attention of CNN to try to put out some hit pieces on them. And then we've got our boys in Waco. Came through last time and really dominated the whole game. Like they never let up.
Man, hit them in the face.
Just spoiled the season. Gonzaga had an undefeated season going into it, and not anymore. And that on the heels of the announcement that Roy Williams, your boy,
my guy,
is retiring.
Yeah, man. We were shocked, but, they got Hubert Davis. And I remember watching them play, and I'm like, hey, we're going to see what it is,
It's definitely going to be a new era. Everybody was nervous when Roy took over for Dean, and the winning tradition continued.
That's
and
it.
Now Davis is going to see. The only thing that I have against Davis in relation to Williams is his sport coat game is just not as good.
I know.
Not as good as Roy Williams.
No, I don't think anybody can. Between the sport coat and the kicks he was wearing,
I'm telling you, dude.
Man, he was dripping everywhere.
Oh my goodness! Wow, with the lingo.
Come on, man. I've been studying.
Man, are you on the TikToks?
Man.
Is that how you got to know all those words? You checking out Chris is checking out the TikToks.
I'm reading the fine print.
No kidding. Yeah, well, speaking of shoes, what do you think about Lil Nas X releasing the Satan shoes coming on?
Listen, I'm not going to hell fooling with that mess.
No kidding. So Nike has, I don't know if you saw this, Nike has put out a statement and filed a lawsuit against Mischief that actually says that they have to take the swoosh off of the shoes before they send them out because they don't want any association
I believe it.
with that. There was in each one of the shoes, and our producer Colton will be able to verify this because he's a bit of a sneaker guy, but each one of the shoes had 1 drop of blood from one of the people that works at Mischief in the shoes.
Not at all, brother. I'm not doing that.
No, sir.
I'm not doing it.
You couldn't wear those shoes in any of the churches around here. I think you just burst into flames.
Man, listen, I'm telling you, every mosquito from hell would be following you, Doc, like trying to get it. I don't think so.
Just absolutely. So. But none of the kids on Baylor were wearing those shoes, so you know they're not they're not properly ordained and blessed to get that stuff out there.
I know it.
So when you were watching the game last night, like what was going? So if you do not follow Pastor Chris Respis on Facebook, it is one of the most entertaining follows. As there was 5 posts in 1 minute of everything from being the couch coach to that old commercial for the canned salmon where the bear and the guy are fighting at the edge of the pond. What were you thinking as you were watching all that? Because you've kept up a lot more with this tournament than I have. This is the most casual I've been about an NCAA tournament in year. Well, really, sports just in general. Since COVID hit, I just haven't watched as much as I used to. But last night we were locked in.
I was locked in, man, and I agree. You know, since COVID hit, I kind of was lukewarm on everything, man. But this tournament kind of revived it for me. And so I was, you know, like I said, growing up in Carolina, man, is what we did.
Right.
And so from the beginning, you know, I was a little worried, man, but Baylor came out and was lights out. When I watched them play, because I had heard about them all year, but didn't really see them until the tournament, maybe a game or two before the tournament. I said, man, these guys are good. And when they hit that tournament, man, hit the floor, it was lights out. And they came out last night, and I was like, you know, punch them in the face right now. You know?
Yeah, you want to talk about sick 'em.
Oh, man, get them.
And did you have the same experience that I did where you found out how many friends that you had that went to Baylor last night?
Oh, man.
Because I hadn't seen, like, even throughout the rest of the tournament, I had all of these people that I did not know went to Baylor. Right. They hadn't posted anything, nothing. And not only do I see that I have friends that went to Baylor, but now I've got all these folks that are like, we're getting on a plane, going to Indianapolis. They went to Lucas Oil Stadium to get to see him in person. A good friend of ours, Pastor Brandon McCarroll from Highland Baptist Church, his brother, they made some deal years ago whenever they were kids, said, you know what, if anything happens, if Baylor ever makes it to a championship game, we're going to go out there. We're going to go and try and see it. And so Baylor makes it to the game. So yesterday they got on a plane. They're on their way back right now. I was going to try to get him on to tell us, you know, what that experience was like. I've got friends and family from all over the Dallas area, Hickory Creek, several people that we know from just being in the community that took off, went to go see the game in person that are freaking out. I had no idea that I had that many bears on my Facebook page.
In your backyard.
Yeah,
That's
no
right.
kidding.
That's right, man.
Bears in the backyard seems like a scary thing.
Especially if they know karate and can fight.
We're going to have to put a link to that in the show notes for this, because if you haven't seen that commercial, it's absolutely ridiculous. I just showed my wife last night because I'm looking at your Facebook feed and I start cracking up, and Kirsten just looks at me, and my wife gives me this look the majority of the time that's like, you're doing something dumb. Right? And like, that's just the norm. But the poor girl, that's just the face that she has now whenever she looks over at me, is like, what stupid thing is my husband doing? But I start cracking up because I'm seeing this gif of this bear fight. So I show her the whole commercial, and she just looks at me and she's like, I'm glad you and Chris have found each other, because I don't get it.
Well, Charmaine is like, I'm taking your phone. I am taking your phone. Like the kid, but I have my own E-Trade app, you know. I have other options.
There's another way to do this. I got the computer, I got the phone, I got the tablet. We can make it happen. You can steal one of your kids' phones and hey, this is my password for Facebook. Go tweet this out for Dad.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that was just a totally crazy thing, crazy experience. It's been a really odd sports year, but to have so much happen within just a couple of hours of us. I mean, UNT's just up the road.
That's right.
Oral Roberts a couple hours away. Baylor's about an hour and a half south. We had a really fun basketball experience.
And Houston, we can't forget.
Oh
Houston.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
got Houston.
Well, I typically do forget about Houston. You know, born and raised in Dallas. Houston's never really been my jam.
Come on, let's be nice.
Okay, I will. I know we've got some friends at HBU. Professor Nancy Piercy was on on my other show. She was on The Reverend and the Reprobate, and we'll be releasing that here in a couple of weeks. I did want to talk about, and I know that this week's going to be brief. We both got stuff we got to get to, so we're sorry that we're being so brief.
Yeah,
but for both of you people that listen to this show, you better believe we'll come at you hard next week.
For sure.
So I want to talk a little bit about the Chris Respis show. And I'm totally catching Chris off guard for those who don't know. So talk to me about the Chris Respis show, because that is your podcast that you do. You've got some opinion stuff on there. You got some sermons on there. You got some interviews with some people on there. Your interview with Charmaine is particularly entertaining to me, the first lady of Antioch Christian Fellowship.
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about the Chris Respis show, what you do with that, and where we can find it.
Yeah. So I appreciate you totally blindsiding me. You kicking me in the stomach like
You're
that bear.
welcome. Yeah, come on, baby.
That's good. No,
you got me fired up.
Come on, man.
This is not my first cup of coffee.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up. No, so the Chris Respis show, man, is just an eclectic gathering of a bunch of things that I felt like doing that week.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a sermon, sometimes it's an interview, sometimes it's just me, droning on, just kind of sharing some things that are on my heart. But ultimately, it's really to kind of, encourage leadership, to be, to inspire people, to just kind of press on, to give people a platform, to share information. Some of the guys that I was able to interview and will be interviewing are folks that nobody else would know about.
Right.
They're kind of behind the scenes or in smaller markets. But doing good stuff, writing books and ministering to people and leading in new ways, and just trying to be faithful in the arenas that they've been afforded and allowed to operate in. And so the goal there, man, is just to present good stuff, be myself, and hopefully introduce, people to some folks.
And if you've been listening to this show, I know we joked that we just had a couple of people that listen, but we're right around, we're getting between like 400 and 600 downloads a month. So we do have local people that are listening. It is specific to the Lake Cities area, so we appreciate everybody for listening.
Absolutely.
But what we do here is just a limited scope of what you do in particular. And I think that that's one thing that's so incredible to me to get to have you on, is because you've got years in leadership. You've got a great perspective on a lot of the things that are happening societally. You've got a unique voice, and that's not just because, we can't avoid it, both the fact that we're different skin tones, we culturally come from different backgrounds, we grew up in different areas of the country.
Right.
We're right on the line of both of us are kind of in between different generations.
That's right.
So we both bring a different perspective to the show, but getting to hear some of those things as you interact with a current event where it's not in a setting like it is here, where you and I get to talk at it indirectly,
right?
Where you can really address it or talk about, what's happening with, a certain thing or a certain policy that's going through, or more importantly, with some of the leadership things, because so many of the different issues that we're dealing with come down to, did this person interact with people that were teaching them, that were loving on them, that were leading them well, and were they taught from then to be good critical thinkers, to be good leaders? And those are all things that you promote in your podcast. We're going to have a link to the Chris Respis podcast in this episode. I really want to encourage you guys to listen to it. It's something that I listen to on the regular because I love it. I love getting to hear the sermons and that kind of stuff. The interviews are great. It's full of wonderful information. And Chris does a little, at the beginning, you get to hear his voiceover voice as Anchor is paying him to do spots for him, which is pretty cool, man.
4 pennies.
Come on, man. That's enough to have a couple to rub together.
Hey,
though,
that's it.
4 pennies will get you jelly beans and that little thing to Walmart, and that's what I care about, man. That's it. Did you? Did you? And this is totally off topic. Now that we've really had that topic,
right?
Did you ever get those homies? You know what I'm talking about?
What's that?
You know the bubblegum machines, how like years ago they started putting like stickers in them.
Yeah.
You'd have like the little gel hand that you could slap on stuff.
Yeah.
They had these little plastic figures called homies.
What?
No lie. And it was mostly Latino characters or
really?
Latinx. Is that what you say? Latinx? We'll get off that. I almost got slapped by I got a Latin friend of mine, and I said Latinx, and he goes, "You're gonna get hit." I was like, "All right, so my bad." Anyway, but it was all kinds of different characters, and there was like a set of like 50 of them, and I had nearly every one.
Really?
I don't know how many hundreds of dollars I spent, 50 cents at a time, to try to get little homies.
Oh,
they
man.
used to all sit. I had this old Chevy Colorado, and they would all sit on the dashboard. And they were all, I had the little poster, the blue like poster tacky.
Yeah.
I had them all set up on top of there.
Man.
Yep. And then
I was too busy getting jawbreakers and trying to save my teeth, or at least trying to ruin them.
Yeah. The little never-ending gobstoppers that were all in those things. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a crazy week.
It has, man.
Happy Easter to everybody that's listening. We hope you had a great Resurrection Day.
Absolutely.
Speaking of ruining teeth, don't eat too much of that candy at one time.
Man, no peeps. No peeps.
Oh, but I told you about peep jousting last week.
You did tell me about that, man. I'm still scarred.
If you're a child that's listening to this, just put that peep in the microwave, put a little peep on the other side of it, get an each toothpick, and then just hit the 30-second button. That's all it's going to take. That's it. You can name it. You can even commentate. If you watch the NCAA tournament and you loved listening to the commentators, there is no better way to work on your commentating chops than watching two peeps on a rotating plate in the microwave.
Swole now. He's getting swole.
Oh, he's messed him up. It's coming in. He's coming in hot. Is he going to poke? Yeah, it's good. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Man, I think that's it for me.
That sounds good to me, man.
Hey, make sure that you check out the Chris Respis Show. You can find it on Spotify. Links are in the show notes. Remember, next week we've got Kristen Holbrooks, the head coach of the Lake Dallas Girls High School volleyball team, to talk to us a little bit about what's going on there. Congratulations to the national champion Baylor Bears.
All righty.
And shout outs to all of our Oral Roberts grads and our UNT alums. We know there's plenty of those. Very first tournament win. It's been a crazy season. We're looking forward to what's coming up in the next few weeks. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see y'all next Thursday.
Holla.
Chris and Lucas want to thank you for listening to the Lake Cities Podcast, a service provided by FBC Lake Dallas and Antioch Christian Fellowship. If you have a topic you would like for Chris and Lucas to discuss, email them at thelakecitiespodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you give us a review and click on the subscribe button to get the latest episodes each week.